It's a pleasure to have you join us on NAPTIP On The Move. I'm Angela Agbegi. NAPTIP recently organized the 2023 States Coordination Meeting on the implementation of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act in Abuja. Our package will bring you clips of this meeting. Stay with NAPTIP On The Move.
Described as a revolutionary piece of legislation, the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015 prohibits all forms of violence against persons, provides maximum protection and effective remedies for victims and punishment of offenders. Mandated by the federal government to administer the provisions of the VAP Act in the Federal Capital Territory, NAPTIP employs diverse strategies to ensure effective implementation, including collaboration with relevant organizations, agencies and state governments. Recently, with support from Ford Foundation under its Strengthening of Government Response to Preventing Sexual and Gender-Based Violence in Nigeria project, NAPTIP organized the 2023 State Coordination Meeting in Abuja. The meeting commenced with welcome remarks by the Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi.
Let me thank all of you for being here. For everyone seated here, we already understand the enormity of the problem we face as a country and a society when it comes to issues of sexual and gender-based violence, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's rape or, different forms of abuse. But one thing that we can agree about is the enormity of the problem that we face. Whatever we face here in the FCT is exactly the same thing that everyone faces in their own jurisdiction, and it's our collective responsibility to change that narrative. So we felt it was important for us to bring everyone together, just create a platform where we can share experiences, share our challenges, and as our role being a federal government agency, we'll see how we can support other states in implementing their various VAP laws.
Done with the opening ceremony, the meeting started with presentation on the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, lessons, challenges and opportunities by Toyosi Giwa from the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program, ROLAC. This was followed by presentations by representatives from the states on the implementation of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition laws, highlighting achievements and challenges. The DG NAPTIP also made a presentation enumerating all the strategies employed by the agency to ensure effective implementation of the VAP Act in the FCT.
Section 44 of the VAP Act mandates NAPTIP to implement the VAP Act in the FCT, and NAPTIP has been doing so since 2015. So to demonstrate the role of NAPTIP in strengthening the implementation of the VAP Act in the FCT, to effectively operationalize the task of collaboration and coordination, two platforms were set up. So the first platform is the high-level multi-agency task team, which is the HIMAT. Second platform is called the SPAC, which is the Service Providers Accountability Resource Committee, with members drawn from the service provider community that render services considered necessary under the VAP Act. So to effectively coordinate the implementation of the Act, NAPTIP created two departments. We have the Violence Against Persons Department, which handles all cases of domestic and sexual abuse reports in the FCT, and in addition to the VAP department, we also created the Rapid Response Unit, responsible for the timely rescue of victims, arrest and investigation of reported cases. So the unit works 24/7 in synergy with the VAP department, with our investigation and monitoring department, as well as our legal and prosecution department. In September 2021, a VAP coordinator was appointed as stipulated in section 42. Then in the same token, in December 2021, with the support with support from ROLAC. For the first time since the enactment of the VAP Act in 2015, an annual VAP report was developed and presented. That is the 2020 reports in further fulfillment of Section 42. So with the support from Ford Foundation, we developed and presented the 2021 VAP report in February, and the 2022 VAP report is equally ready and will soon be presented. In terms of victims' rights, under Section 38, NAPTIP operates a shelter in the FCT which caters for victims of human trafficking and also survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. NAPTIP is the custodian of the National Sex Offenders Database. Then, in fulfillment of Section 41 of the Act, which stipulates that protection officers are to be appointed in the 6 area councils of the FCT, we did that February 2022, and we appointed, trained and deployed 12 NAPTIP protection officers to the 6 area council of the FCT, so 2 protection officer per area council.
High point of the meeting was the presentation of the gap analysis on the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act and state laws by the Director General of NAPTIP, highlighting the gaps in each state.
So to promote effective implementation of the VAP Act, under the Ford Foundation grant, we also conducted an in-depth gap analysis on the VAP Act itself and the 34 standalone state VAP laws, and came up with a policy brief, and copies will be made accessible via our website NAPTIP, www.naptip.gov.ng. And the reason why we conducted the gap analysis was to identify deficiencies in the Act and the laws, enhance enforcement and justice, address social and technological changes, and also create stability and predictability. And for each state VAP law, we highlighted specific gaps, differences, and similarities in the laws vis-a-vis the 2015 VAP Act. So at the end of the analysis, we proposed general and specific recommendations, and in the same token, we also highlighted a number of good practices which may be considered for adoption by states to further strengthen their laws. So while the VAP Act 2015 and the subsequent adoption of the VAP laws by states represent significant steps in the fight against SGBV in Nigeria, a strengthened legal framework combined with effective implementation and public awareness campaigns can contribute significantly to the eradication of SGBV.
Isa Abdul Karim of the Information and Communication Technology Department of NAPTIP also made presentations on the onboarding of the National Sex Offenders Database and NAPTIP iReporter app. Next steps and VAP referral mechanisms in states was facilitated by NAPTIP Development Consultant. For some of the participants, it is a timely meeting.
I must commend NAPTIP and the Ford Foundation for harmonizing such a coordination meeting to harmonize the next steps in implementing the VAP law and ensuring that gender-based violence is curbed to a very maximum extent. We are going to be presenting very feasible next steps to the state government, to the state ministries of children, gender affairs and social development, as well as other frontliners that are responders to GBV cases, and most especially the urban and grassroots civil society organizations who are working on gender-based violence, next steps out of VAP law.
Workshops like this that bring us together is like family to me. So going back, we'll share what we have learned. Our coalition, LAGVAL, advocated for and secured the passage of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, passed in 2015. That is the law, that's the blueprint that we have all been using. It is a VAP Act that has been adopted in all the states, adopted and passed in most of the states. Unfortunately for us in Nigeria, implementation is a problem. We are really interested in making progress in this area and curbing this menace. It is a problem for us. Our problem will escalate as a nation if we don't have mental health addressed. Sexual and gender-based violence causes mental health and increases the rate of mental health in Nigeria, and is perpetrated amongst very young children, which is a major crime and major grievance. So we need to address it now, otherwise we will not have a nation or a progressive nation at all.
For me, it's the first time this kind of meeting for this purpose is being convened, and as a pioneer VAP coordinator, I'm excited seeing people who have been mentoring, who are carrying on the work, coming to examine the challenges, the opportunities, and the lessons they have learned. So that review, I like it, because the meal strategy, that is monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning, it's so important. Otherwise, we will not be able to make progress. The undercurrent of all these challenges we are facing is not budgeting appropriately, and we have what is called 3-year estimated budget that were presented to the National Assembly for NAPTIP and other partners to be able to use. So it's absolutely important for us to, when I say us now, it's not within our power to allocate resources. It's the National Assembly, one of their main rules. So the national and the state assemblies. That's why in this season of appropriation, let it be the gift they are giving to Nigerians, not women, to Nigeria as a country, to be able to budget. But it's one thing for you to have the law, it's another thing for you to implement appropriately. Then it's a different thing entirely to put all the structures in place. So the most basic obligation we have is to appropriate, to look for a subhead particularly. We are asking for that because NAPTIP cannot be an administrator that does not have, or the mandate holder for the VAP law by the National Assembly itself, and the National Assembly is not budgeting for her own law, so it's not proper. So whatever that can be done to help Nigeria to do the right thing, to be wonderful.
The meeting ended with a communique including the urgent need for government, both at federal and state level, to have more gender-responsive budgeting by creating a budget line for all states to implement the VAP law. Representatives from Ministry of Justice from 17 states, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Nigeria Correctional Center, Whatclef, FIDA, various non-governmental organizations and officers of NAPTIP attended the meeting. This synergy will enhance the fight against sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria. NAPTIP On The Move is sponsored by Expertise France, funded by the European Union. Every day, NAPTIP receives reports on all forms of violence against persons, diverse cases of domestic violence, rape, incest, physical abuse, especially child abuse. NAPTIP is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that victims are compensated and offenders severely punished. But NAPTIP needs a lot of support. The VAP Act will be most effective if all states adopt the Act as law. Then, victims shun the culture of silence and report to NAPTIP. Call NAPTIP today on 0703 000203 or the toll-free short code 627. NAPTIP, ensuring a human trafficking and violence-free nation.
Collectively, we can end sexual and gender-based violence. You're still watching NAPTIP On The Move. Up next is our event segment. Keep watching. The Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, attended the Eurojust annual meeting on migrant smuggling from the 8th to the 9th of November 2023 at The Hague, the Netherlands. In the same token, the Director General also attended and participated at the conference on transnational organized crime affecting West Africa and Europe from the 9th to the 10th of November 2023 at Eurojust, The Hague, the Netherlands. The conference was organized by Eurojust, the UNODC, and the Syracuse International Institute, Italy. The conference brought together 84 participants from 20 countries, including prosecutors, law enforcement, and other experts from select West African and European countries affected by interconnected transnational organized crime groups and networks, with the objectives of taking stock of various forms of transnational organized crime affecting select West African and European jurisdictions, and strengthening the networking and practical cooperation among participating practitioners. The Nigerian delegation was led by the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Olasukomi Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN. The Director General of NAPTIP made a presentation on trafficking in persons and the smuggling of migrants, the latest trends, where she shared the alarming transformation in the landscape of human trafficking in Nigeria, which has reshaped the human trafficking ecosystem. The highlight of the conference was the signing of the Nigeria Eurojust Working Arrangement by the Honorable Attorney General and the President of Eurojust, Ladislav Hamran. Other members of the delegation were the Nigerian Ambassador to the Netherlands, Dr. Eniola Ajayi, Ambassador Oluremi Oluyide, senior staff from the Federal Ministry of Justice, the Nigeria Immigration Service, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. Director Investigation, NAPTIP, Daniel Atokolo, attended the conference with the Director General. The Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, recently received a delegation from the government of Finland. The leader of the team, Major Luca, said the purpose of the visit is to seek areas of collaboration with the agency, noting that NAPTIP and the Finnish government signed a Memorandum of Understanding in 2015. Receiving the Finnish delegation, the Director General of NAPTIP emphasized the need to strengthen collaboration in areas of capacity building for officers of the agency, stating that there's always room for more capacity building. Partnership is one of the strategies in combating human trafficking due to the transnational nature of the crime. In a related development, the Honorable Commissioner of the Public Complaints Commission, Honorable Alhatu Ezekiel Musa, and his team held a meeting with the management of NAPTIP. The Honorable Commissioner said the meeting is aimed at collaborating with NAPTIP, more specifically to create desk offices in the two agencies for seamless collaboration. The Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Waziri Azi, affirmed the need for such collaboration and pledged the support of the agency in creating desk offices in both organizations. The fight against human trafficking and violence against persons is indeed a fight for all of government and society. A federal high court in Katsina State, presided over by Honorable Justice M.S. Abubakar, has sentenced a 32-year-old female, Iyabo Hamid, to 18 months imprisonment without an option of fine for attempting to procure the illegal entry of a 23-year-old female to Libya from Kwara State through Kano and Katsina. In Maiduguri, the State High Court, presided over by Honorable Justice A. Undume, has sentenced a 46-year-old female, Mercy Nsa Heneswa, to 15 years imprisonment and a fine of 2 million naira for the abduction of 3 children, ages 7, 5, and 3, all in Maiduguri, Borno State, an offense punishable under Section 21 of the Trafficking in Persons, Prohibition, Enforcement, and Administration Act 2015. So far in 2023, NAPTIP has secured 60 convictions and counting for human trafficking.
Hi! Are you aware that any person who recruits, transports, harbors, or receives another person by means of force or deception for the purpose of exploitation is a human trafficker? And that running a baby factory is not just illegal, but is considered human trafficking. Engaging a child for domestic servitude and paying to an agent is also human trafficking. Sexual exploitation, child pornography, forced labor, organ harvesting, sale and purchase of persons are all forms of human trafficking. NAPTIP remains resolute in securing justice for victims by scaling its investigative and prosecutorial efforts, shun the culture of silence, and report all cases to NAPTIP.
Call NAPTIP now on 0703 0000203 or the toll-free short code 627. NAPTIP, ensuring a human trafficking and violence-free nation.
Finally, we bring you an account of a victim. Don't go away.
I'm 50 years old. I'm living with my parents in the village. So my father now come and tell me that he wants me to get married. That time is 40 years. So I now think I cannot get married now. I'm too young to get married. He say no. Say the man is from Abuja. So I will get married. The man will carry me come Abuja. And I say okay, I will not marry the man. My father now go and tell my mother that I will marry the man. So they now join her together. They now say if I not marry the man, they will throw me out of the house. So it better man marry the man. So I don't have any place to go. And I say okay. So the man now come. And I see the man is 50 years. And I tell my father I cannot marry the man. The man is too old. Father say if I not marry the man, they will throw me out. Say I must marry the man by force. Say the man is good. And I say okay. So I now married. I now follow the man come Abuja. So the man now try to sleep with me. I don't give him chance. So the man will now force me. So from there I will leave our room to go and sleep outside the gate. So the man now maltreat me. He don't used to give me food. Anytime I close to person, the man will beat me. Anytime you see me with person stand, the man will beat me. He don't used to give me food. Anytime I work, he will collect me the money. It's only 6,000. If anytime I ask her to give me money, he will say that he will not give me. Say the food that is giving me is past 6,000. So since then, our neighbor now go attend NAPTIP. So that is why I'm here. I want to say thank you because the man is threatening me with knife. He wanted to say anytime I leave the compound, he will kill me with knife, and he will tell my parents that I lost, that I follow men and go there, they now kill me. So I want to say thank you. I did the man have maybe by now for the dancing. So I want to say thank you for everything.
For more inquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking, violence against persons and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotline 0703 0000203 or the short code 627, or email us info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria, or watch our videos on YouTube.
This is where we draw the curtain on today's episode of NAPTIP On The Move. Thank you for watching, and do join us again next week. My name is Angela Agbegi. Bye for now.